6:15. I shall call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we shall have roll call, please, Stacy.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Jellison,
Yes.
Dahlin,
Yes.
Salvi, Mayor Wallers.
Yes. Well, greetings, everyone. Welcome to this city council meeting on Tuesday here, the July 28th. Happens to be my mother's birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom. Just a shout out to Mom. We'll start tonight's meeting, like all the other meetings, with Mayor Waller's quote for the day, and thought maybe we could all use a little humor. This particular quote is, I selected, comes from a Mr. Louis Grizzard. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of him. He was a humorist and American writer. Here's what he has to say. Life is like a dog sled team. If you ain't the lead dog, the scenery never changes. How do you like the view, Jeff?
Tails up.
Top dog? It just cracked me up when I saw that one, so I had to share it. Okay, we'll move on to approval of tonight's agenda. I'll entertain any motions, or any additions or corrections, and then if there are none, or hearing some, we'll entertain a motion to approve. Oh,
I'd
excuse me.
like
I do have let's start with my own little additions here. We do have an item we'd like to add under item B, under petitions, requests, and communications. So that'll be item B, and that'll be a recommendation to change our Tuesday, August 11th regular meeting to Monday, August 10th. That's the Monday before that, obviously, and that's at the same time, and that's due to the primary. So a week from today is the primary, and so we can't, we could technically hold a meeting on primary, but we'd have to be done by 6, and I'm more in favor of moving the day so we can take care of all of our business, so that's one addition. Then we also have Mary Elizabeth Bezanson had indicated she wants to approach the council, so we'll give her some time. Let's see. Are there any other items that the council would like to add or change?
I will move approval of the agenda as stated with the 2 additions.
I will second.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. All right, we will move on to our citizens' comments, and Mary Elizabeth, the floor is yours.
I want your ears more than your floor. So this is a question more than a comment, and I truly don't understand. So in the big box that was 5th to 7th on Columbia and College, there is an apartment building at the end by the cemetery, and then there is the Legacy on 7th, and then there is the daycare pod, and the county wants to build another pod in that space, I heard. And then when you go up the hill on Columbia, that's where the city's brand new 3-story apartment is, right?
The city.
It's not,
Yes.
It's not the city.
Oh,
not a
it's
city project.
we don't own it.
It's actually a
Oh.
workforce housing project that Riverview has been.
Oh, okay, so
But it's a
it's,
development firm out of Alexandria that's building it.
Right, yeah.
oh,
It's a
okay.
private-
But it's been,
Oh, it's not the city.
No,
it's
no, we
private
don't.
land that was
Private.
bought, and now
Okay.
they're putting an apartment building on
It
it.
would be good to have a hotel. Anyway, so then, but down along 5th, I found out that the HRA is interested in putting a new apartment building in.
Yep.
Yes, that's them.
Yep, that's correct. We've been chatting with them quite a bit because they, that project won't work unless we have that reconstruction on 3rd, 4th, and 5th for utility capacity increase.
That's what I was wondering about. So, does anybody, you will see the link. So there is a problem crossing the street on Main Street to ELC, and we've done what we could by putting that little sign up, but the crosswalk has not been repainted. And on 7th Street, we seem to have known that it was going to be narrower, but then we realized that there was going to be a problem with parking when people had baseball games. So we reacted to that. And now, because Jim and Anita saw people crossing the highway to get to the liquor store and buy party goods, we now think, which is very handy, I think, but we now think we need to do something to make it more pedestrian safe. So my experience of this is that we're reacting rather than planning when people erect things. That doesn't work very well, in my view. So when, after the whatever is done, and they put that new apartment building in, have we looked at what that traffic is going to do to 5th Street and to Columbia and College? Have we thought about that?
Mhm.
Oh, we have.
Something that we talk about in pre-construction meetings typically. So haven't started pre-construction. We've been doing a lot of planning behind the scenes meetings, specifically more for like special assessments right now, trying to gear up for those and hearings for that. But I actually just spoke with Councilmember Dolan today because he had a resident that was concerned about the increased traffic in that corridor on Columbia and 5th. And so he had asked, back in the day, there used to be a 4-way stop right there.
Right.
So maybe we could revisit putting in more stop signs, so that would be a 4-way stop again, and then maybe even looking at the speed limit there.
Well, and we would mark the pedestrian crossing with a great deal of paint and maybe some lights. Okay, thank you very much for,
And there was an elementary school on that property
I know.
before it got knocked down, so there was, I think, grades 1 through 8 or 9.
6, 7 went there.
Yeah,
was
it
8 or 9
changed.
back when
Back-
after you old timers got out of there. Yeah, between the bus traffic and
Yeah.
classes and class sizes, when I graduated, I think was 145 or 150 students in my class. So if you take, there were a lot of people, a lot of traffic on that 2-block section of Morse back in the day.
Right. I won't make the joke I was thinking of. I think people drive faster, and I don't think they're paying attention.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, would anybody else like to approach the council that has not indicated they would like to do so? Seeing none, we shall move on. We have no public hearings tonight. We shall move on to our reading and approval of our meeting minutes from July 14th, 2026, and those would be our regular meeting minutes.
I will move approval of the regular meeting minutes from our July 14 of 2026 meeting.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve our July 14th, 2026 regular meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. And now we shall move on to our July 14th, 2026 condensed version of those same minutes.
I will move approval of the condensed version of the July 14th, 2026 minutes.
I will second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve our July 14th, 2026 condensed version of the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Moving on to our consent agenda, which tonight consists of the audit of city bills, our tree board minutes from June 17th, 2026, our park board meeting minutes from July 8th, 2026, pay estimate number 10, item D, Project 1 Construction, Inc., Morris Liquor Store, item E, pay estimate number 4, East 7th Street, and the last item F, revenue and expenditure report. And I will move approval of the items on the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve those items on the consent agenda. I'll bring it back to the city council for any discussion on any of the items listed there. Looking at the tree board minutes, I see the EAB is now in Wilmer. So it's getting closer. And I know we're doing all we can at our end here, the tree board. I know they're actively looking ahead, and
It's in Polk County also.
it's in Polk County also, yeah. So yeah, we just need to be on guard for that.
Keep being mindful about it for budget as well.
That's right. Would there be any other discussion from the council on the items on the consent agenda? The pay estimate now for East 7th Street, is that final now then?
Not final,
Not
no.
final.
That is, I think they'll still have one or two, I would imagine, and then depending on, what's worked out between the city, WSN, and Joe Riley Construction for that year warranty with what we wanna
Okay,
do to the project to make sure that it's, you know, of good quality when we actually complete it, so that it's something that we can be proud of. Because
Okay.
right now, I don't think we can necessarily say that with the state of it at this point.
it's a little waffly in
It's
spots.
pretty waffly. It doesn't feel like a brand new road. So we were looking at maybe doing a mill and overlay in the spring in conversation with them about that, to just grind it back down and put a fresh new blacktop layer on top, and then that way we would be able to fix the striping as well, because the striping was put down about 8 inches off from where it needs to be. But
You know, I'm not a construction guy, but you know, there's a lot of variables that come into play when you start talking about a waffling issue. It could be weather,
Yeah.
heat related, could be, or maybe the base wasn't probably enough, or, you know, there's just a number of factors that come into play there, but
yeah.
those guys are the experts, and I know they'll get it right, so.
Yeah, and I had talked to Jeff from WSN engineering firm. He's the engineer for the city on that project, and I had just said, you know, with the state of the project, are you comfortable with us moving forward with this pay estimate at this time, since we're still, you know, pretty uneasy with the state of the project? And he said, so yeah, you know, Joe Riley Construction, I don't have any feelings at all that they've acted in bad faith by any means. I think it's just had really
Right.
difficult circumstances for the project, and he thinks all of the punch list items that we've got for it would be well covered with the retainage that we've still got
Okay.
open for the project. So that made me feel comfortable moving ahead and putting it on the agenda tonight, but it is not where we want it to be quite honest with you. So
Well, they've been good partners for the city for years, and they've done the majority of our work around here, and they're stand-up guys. I know they'll make it right, so.
When does our 1-year warranty take effect? I mean, when the job is completed, but when are we technically, I'm just curious there, when we have a year. It'd be nice, like you say, to go through a winter and just see where things are again, but how far into next year or when we have a firm date on that, would just be nice to know where we're at with that.
Yeah, I believe, so I know, project, substantial completion, was meant to be, June 19th of this year, so that would be, I would think around that time, but I don't know that for a fact off the top of my head, so I can get back to you on that.
It would just be nice to have a firm date so we know that going
For sure.
forward,
Yeah.
so that when we get out and see if we have any other issues to
Yeah.
deal with it. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Any other discussion from members of the council? Okay, looks like we have a motion and a second to approve the items on the consent agenda. I'll just ask for a voice vote on that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. All right, we will move on to our petitions, requests, and communications. First item, item A, is a recommendation from the Planning Commission. T5 Morris LLC subdivision lot split and preliminary plat. And I know we all have that information in front of us and have had an opportunity to look it over. I'll just bring it over to City Manager Johnson, and she can maybe speak a little bit to that.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So, like you had said, this item is for a lot split on 14 Green River Road. This is, the items included in your packet include an email from a Mr. Paul Buchema. I don't know if I might be pronouncing that a little bit wrong, but his email does a really nice job of just kind of walking you through all of the requirements for a preliminary plat approval. The one note that I will make to you that we did get a question about during the Planning Commission meeting was, where's my packet? There's my Planning Commission version. For item Q, PUD and utilities, there is underground electricity for the remaining lot or the existing lot, and then the new lot would be above ground electricity. And then also, there was a mention at the Planning Commission about connecting to Vero Ford sewer. But I had been emailing with a gal, Carissa, I think her name is, at Vero Ford, and that's actually not allowed in our code. So they would have to pay for new sewer connection fees. That's just kind of standard with our updated zoning code. So those were really the only two items that I wanted to bring up, but again, I think the email does a really great job of walking you through all of the requirements and considerations that you should make for a preliminary plat. We've got a copy of Stevens County recording for just sort of a legal description of the current parcel, and then we've got a survey in here so you can kind of take a better look at what the existing and new lot would look like. And I know we've got members in the audience today. If you've got any questions, that would be representative for 14 Green River Road, Doug, and also I think the interested party in looking to buy that lot, and if the lot split is successful.
I mean, Doug, if you wanted to come up and speak to it, you're sure welcome. More information, the better.
Yeah, Doug Stahman with formerly West Central Environmental Consulting, now SET Environmental. So if you guys have any specific questions, I'll answer them.
Water and sewer hookup, I take for granted since it's talking back with Bureau Ford, but it's back on the back of the property line that borders with the backside of Bureau Ford. where the
Yeah, that
hookups
was
will be.
just one, I think that was just one option being considered by, we do have a signed purchase agreement, and it's dependent on whether or not we can split the lot. But that was just some conversations that were going on between the potential buyer and Bureau Ford. But there's multiple options that are available, and I'm pretty sure, I met with, what's the gentleman's name, or position title that would be in charge of the sewer?
The utility supervisor.
So the utility supervisors met with me, and then also with the potential buyers, and they've looked at several different options. He's
Okay.
never once said it can't be done, so.
So they're familiar with it and have looked at it.
Yep.
Just curious where the current hookup is for water and sewer on the West Central Environmental Building.
It's
If
just
it
straight out
goes
the
out
window.
Front or out the back?
At the front.
Okay, that would have been my guess, but just curiosity wise where the existing is for, thank you. That's the only question I had, but utilizing a property that you guys, it looks like no longer have a need for, and you have somebody that wants to use the building, and if we can have somebody to take advantage of a building that's there and to occupy, and
Yeah, yeah. It meets the code currently as it sits, and our attorney said it would meet the code as separate lots. So both lots would then also meet the code requirements.
not anticipating any huge traffic volumes coming in with the new
Uh,
buyers and what their plans are with the building.
The group that we have a signed purchase agreement with works nights, I think, 2 nights a week, evenings, 2 nights a week.
Okay.
So there won't even be much traffic between their two businesses, and I just can't imagine that there would be any change in the traffic out front. I mean, the space was being leased to a company in the past, so it's virtually no difference in my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a good idea, making use of property that you're currently not using and giving somebody else an opportunity. I think it's a good deal for the city and a good deal for you guys. Any questions for Doug? Oh, thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
The only other thing that I would add is just that planning commission,
The other gentleman maybe want to speak?
oh,
or-
sure,
Oh,
yes, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, sir, I didn't see.
I think he's also in.
All right, yeah,
with
for
the-
sure.
the- probably the
I have one
purchase.
question. My name is Davis Wolf, and I'm a director on the board for Storehouse Incorporated, which we would propose buying the property. We're currently located in Hancock, and we outgrew our building in Hancock, is why we want to move to Morris and increase the size of the building. So the question I had, you mentioned that you talked to someone at Vero Ford, and it's against the zoning code
Yeah,
to hook into their sewer?
yes, correct.
So that's not a possibility?
It's not possible, no.
Okay.
Every individual property owner has to have their own utility hookup. I don't think you can hook up to an existing property. I don't think that's been done for quite a while. I don't know if, maybe it's not that old, but the 50s, I would guess, is probably back when that would still be allowed, but
So then our other option, according to, is that Ryan Mogard? Is it?
Yep, yeah.
Okay, he suggested that we tee into WCECs, so that would be teeing into another business. So is that against the zoning too?
Davis, the line would actually be teed into and separately metered on city property, would not be on WCC property.
Mhm. Yeah, and Ryan's just concerned because the sewer line in that area is only about 2 foot deep in that part of town, so he's just really wants to make sure that whatever the capacity is that we would need for the new use, he just wants to make sure that whatever setup we have, that system can handle it, because it is much shallower.
WCEC's system, is that what you're
Just in
referring to?
just in that side of town, in general, in that
Oh,
area,
okay.
it's just very shallow
So,
for sandy
so
sewer.
for your information, all we're adding is 2 restrooms, a men's
Right.
and a women's,
Mhm.
and a sink. And so there's no other drains in the building or anything.
Right,
And we operate 2 hours, generally 2 hours a week with 15 volunteers, and in past experience, very few of them use the restroom. So
yeah,
very minimal water and sewage usage.
yeah,
That was
which is
gonna be my
why,
next question was just, do you anticipate any large usage of the water or sewer, but obviously not.
We don't.
And not
Right.
to pry into what type, or what you're doing, I guess it's none of our business. If you're not using high volumes of, to creating additional strain on our system there, that we're gonna have
Very
300 or
Very
500
minimal. I could
people.
get records from Hancock what we use, but
Right.
it's very tiny.
and that was just why I'd asked that you chat with Ryan about it, because he's the expert in that realm, so I just, as long as he doesn't have any concerns about it, I don't have any concerns about it, and he knows that, he knows that it would be able to handle it.
And we don't
so.
propose, we're gonna split the parking lot, but it's okay with Doug, because we use the parking lot when they're not using it, they use it when we're not using it, so works very well to share.
Mhm.
Any other questions for me?
That sounds like you guys have worked it out kind of between
Yeah.
yourselves, and
Yep.
that's the way it should work.
We've done significant planning.
It's
Thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Davis. Okay. I guess I'll move on that recommendation from the Planning Commission. T5 Morris LLC subdivision lot split and preliminary plat.
And I will second.
All right, any further discussion before we put it to a vote? Hearing none, I think I'll just ask for a voice vote on that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to the added item B, a recommendation to change our Tuesday, August 11th meeting to Monday, August 10th at 5:15. And of course, that's due to the primary election day.
Mhm. It's a good catch from our deputy city clerk. Thank you for catching that. I know when I was still working for the city of Edina, the same day we had a mad dash because we realized we didn't catch that, and so we had to quick figure out how to get the message out that we had to cancel that meeting tonight because we didn't want to be.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
Or have a fast meeting. But
Right, but we knew that wasn't going to happen with that agenda for that evening, so we knew we had to cancel and figure out a rescheduled date, so.
I will move on that to transfer our August 10 meeting to, our August 11th meeting on Tuesday to Monday, August 10th at the same time, to take consideration for the primary election to be held on our normal meeting night.
I will second.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second to change our Tuesday, August 11th meeting to Monday, August 10th at 5:15. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. All right, we have, wow, am I looking at that right? We have no ordinances and resolutions tonight.
Light agenda, yes.
Well, we had a pile of them last meeting,
We
so I guess we're good.
I suppose I probably could have lightened them up a little. I could have spread them out,
That's
but
all
I don't
good.
know. If I
It's
can
all
get them
good.
done, I like to get them.
That's right. All right, well, we'll move on then to our city manager's newsletter. Take it away, City Manager Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. So this newsletter will cover July 11th to the 24th. So project updates that I had at that time. The utility extension out at Grimway Farms, or Fresha. Underground utilities are installed, and I just got word today that their testing has been approved and completed, so they're good on that front. And then, they are still expected to be completed with the project in August. Pomme de Terre Trail project, a pre-construction meeting is scheduled for tomorrow, and construction is to be completed in 2026 yet. And remember, we do have that 20 working day deadline to get construction completed, unless they decide to chunk it up and do it piece by piece so that trail users can still enjoy the majority of the trail, so that it's not such a burden on those trail users.
But each chunk would also have the 20-day, if it's broken into 2 or 3 different portions, that each section will be done within a 20-day.
Yep, correct.
Good.
In regards to that, I had a question come up from somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Behind the water treatment plant,
Mm-hmm.
like by the softball fields there, is that part of it, or is that not the city property?
That's
Okay.
not city property. I
Okay.
actually, Brian Herman had asked me that question at last Friday with coffee with the chancellor at Common Cup, and I said, regret to inform you, that's your property, so we won't be taking that on. I just kind of sent him the project maps, and I showed him the similar spot where the county's going to be addressing a certain point in the trail, I think, when they look at redoing 10, Highway 10, because they need to address some elevation issues with that, and so that's going to be a little bit out of our scope, I think, for this project. So those are 2 of the areas that we had left out, but that's a good question. Then Trunk Highway 9 sidewalk project. So design is at 100% and has been reviewed by MnDOT. MnDOT's waiting for the right-of-way certificate, which can't be signed until all easements are received. We do think that we have just about all of them done. I think there's just one easement at this time, since the weekend has gone by and since they've gotten word that more have been sent through the mail. Just one of those 8 temporary easements are left. I think there were 8 temporary and then 1 permanent easement. The permanent's taken care of. But once those are all submitted, MnDOT is expected to approve and give authorization, and then we'll be recommending to bid that project when the approval is given by MnDOT, with a construction timeline to be flexible for the contractor to do the work this fall or next spring. 3rd, 4th, 5th Street and alley improvements. So design for this project is at 90%, and the feasibility report is in a draft stage, which is currently underway. This project is on schedule for assessment process this fall, with the project to be bid in November, and construction will be spring and summer 2027. Like we had kind of alluded to earlier during citizens' comments, there's a new Stevens County HRA apartment building development along 5th Street near that old school site, and that's dependent on this project in the summer of 2027 being completed. Otherwise, I don't believe that utility capacity would be able to handle that new apartment building that's currently going up, as well as the new HRA apartment that they have been planning.
And just anyone listening in, we're saying 3rd, 4th, and 5th Streets would be from Columbia up to College. It's
Yes.
not the entire from Main Street up, so
Correct,
the
sorry, I
people
should have.
between Columbia and Main Street, no, you're not gonna be getting your streets, water, sewer redone. It's
Yep,
just Columbia to the east up to College.
yep, correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And sidewalk is part of that too?
Sidewalk will be part of that, yep, and we'll have a breakdown in that, once we have the feasibility report, finalized for each, an itemized list of each aspect of that project for water, sewer, storm, sidewalk, street, curb and gutter, all that
And
good
we'll
stuff.
have a meeting or open house, basic informational for residents
Yep.
this fall sometime.
Yep, we are looking to have that, have a resolution to set that up at the first meeting in August, I believe, and then that'll be scheduled for the second meeting in September,
Excellent.
the
Thank you.
preliminary hearing, yep, assessments.
Now, what is specifically they gonna do to the alleys? I see that's part of the scope of the project too. What kind of work are they gonna do in the alleys? It says alley improvements.
I guess I don't know specifics off the top of my head. I would, I can double
One of those
check
alleys
with,
is paved.
yeah.
So are they, I mean, are they just leaving that? And I don't know what,
I don't remember them talking about that, but
yeah, is there only one alley? No, there would be 2, couple.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, there'd be.
I think some of the current sewer runs through some properties up on Fifth
It's
Street
interesting
and
the
cut
way it's
across like.
set up,
for a
yeah.
couple of
There's
the
some that
properties there,
connect
so
behind,
probably
almost in the backyards of other
that's
property owners by
Part
the
of this will get
alley.
it back out onto
Um,
the street like it should be,
Okay, yeah.
instead of
Sorry.
running through
Okay,
private
yeah,
property.
I think we did talk about that.
But yeah, I guess,
That's right.
in terms of specifics, I would just say all of, kind
We
of
work
just
on it.
general maintenance and making sure that all of those utilities are
Okay.
upgraded as they need to be, to make
Well,
sure they're not
that's
falling
the time to
apart.
do it. Good deal.
There is an Atlantic Avenue fiber optic project that I believe started yesterday. Fiber optic project has been in the works for quite some time. When I had talked to our public works director about it, he says it's been one of those projects that has kind of been talked about it for last couple or few years, and rubber never really hit the road on it, but now rubber is hitting the road. So it's going to begin out near Heartland and going to move south then towards Dairy Queen. City staff have done locates for the project, and about every 400 to 500 feet there will be a removed sidewalk panel to complete the necessary boring, just about at every intersection then. So city staff said that they have been going back and forth on what side boring work will be conducted on, but they believe it'll be done on the east side of Atlantic now. There should not be any traffic issues, and the public works director had requested that the contractors put up guards or some kind of physical barrier when they are removing those sidewalk panels, just to make sure there's limited liability there for passersby and pedestrians and such. But until they can find a contractor to fill back in all of the removed panels, because there's not going to be, Public Works Director just said that you're not going to find a contractor to just take one at a time. You're gonna have to put them together in one contract so they can get them all filled back in all together. Until they can find a contractor to do that work, they'll be filling them in with gravel. So this boring work will be done in a couple of weeks, Russ had said, not too long.
Is this an existing company that we have with the fiber optics in Morse, or is this a new company coming in, or?
I think this was a new company coming in. Russ couldn't remember their name off the top of his head. I can.
Generally, if we have somebody, just, there's a fee up front to make
Mhm.
sure if there's any damages or things aren't done to
Yep.
our standards, that we have something to hold them responsible or liable for.
Mhm.
Just probably if it's somebody that we're not currently in the community and working with, to make sure that we've got the proper paperwork and permits, applications taken care of on that, please.
Yeah, when I had asked him about permitting and everything like that, he was like, you know, because it's been so long in the making, everything like on that end has been taken care of. It's just they have been stalled for so long on when exactly they're going to start. But yeah, I'll double check to make sure all of that's still in good standing, because sometimes those can expire depending on how long you can
I
wait on
guess
it.
when I see that they haven't found contractors to, I mean, I get that, but then how long do we let them just sit there with an open gravel? I mean, if this project's been in the works for years, then what's the hurry to get it done now and then not have a contractor sitting there ready to, I get when you wanna do the whole thing, but, I mean, is there a, like, they could leave it for 5 years or never finish it then? I mean,
Mhm.
like, as to what Jeff said, I think this seems a little like, oh, let's put this in, but we're not gonna worry about if we can finish it or not, or.
Yeah, if it's not done to our standards in a timely
Yeah,
fashion, we
then
have
we've
the
got a
right
sidewalk.
to get somebody, hire somebody to get it done and assess the charges to them. I mean, have some teeth in there to make them get it
Yep.
completed. And I understand it's tough to get things done, but if they've been working on it for several years, so hopefully get organized and just make sure that whoever's doing it, that we have everything
There's a
looked into to get
completion
it done.
date, not,
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah, it seems
I
kinda
mean,
like, well, if once we
it's
find a
almost
contractor to backfill it.
August, and we know
Yeah.
what comes after August, we're into fall, and
Mm-hmm.
I would also say, I know that it says that Russ requested that the contractors put up the guards, but I think us as a city should make sure those guards are up and it's marked with the fair
Mhm.
coming, and you know, you
Mhm.
catch someone on a scooter jumping 3 blocks of cement.
Okay, I'm interrupting you. You know that this will not be handicapped accessible if you put the gravel down. So people in wheelchairs, strollers, bikes, whatever, won't be able to use this sign.
Yeah,
It's also an NDOT highway.
yep, state highway. I was
I
just
don't-
gonna actually make comment to that. It is a
not-
state highway, but
Yeah,
you know, the true test will be tomorrow. We have crazy days in town, so we're gonna have a lot of influx of
Right.
traffic on that particular
Mhm.
stretch.
they're gonna
so-
be doing one section per block to get access to do the boring, I believe. So it's gonna be one section per block to do boring, to get the cable through there. So, I mean, progress, yeah, anything, as anyone on East Seventh Street knows, the last year, it's not pleasant when you're making the improvements, but hopefully when it's done, yeah, it's worth it. But small steps we have to go through to make improvements, and hopefully the fiber optic makes everybody go, yee-haw, we really made a major improvement for our community, so.
How far south down Atlantic is it going?
To Dairy Queen.
I thought it was by Dairy Queen.
Begins at Heartland and down to Dairy
So
Queen, it
pretty
says,
much
and
the
here,
whole-
so.
Okay.
2027 budget work session, chatting with the city's finance director. She pointed out that the typical 5th session work session will not leave the city with any time to incorporate feedback received to council and then submit to the county. So similar to how it was done last year, I'm proposing we schedule a work session on Monday, September 14th at 5:15. That'll be that 3rd week in September, so an off week for council. And then scheduling it that Monday, we make sure that we've still got, we're not butting up with planning commission. So that way city staff can be sure to have enough time to propose the preliminary budget to council. Council can sit with it, think about feedback for a while before the work session, then come back, give that feedback to me, and then Whitney and I can incorporate it in the preliminary budget approval for the September 22nd council meeting to make sure that we've got that in by the deadline for certification with Stevens County on September 30th. City code codification process update. So the city received the draft manuscript for the Morris Code of Ordinances, and I'm now waiting for the legal and editorial report, which will take at least another 2 months, I was told. That will explain the revisions American Legal Publishing made to the code, as well as any editorial and legal comments and questions regarding specific code questions that they may have had upon their review. It's been a long process. I just wanted to give you an update on it because it's something that I have kind of been poking the bear on a little bit because I hadn't gotten an update on a while, so just got that in. A park board survey for the Morris Park System. The park board has been working to prepare a park system survey for residents and park users to submit feedback. This feedback will inform the park board's recommendations for future projects to the city council. The next park board meeting has been moved up to August 5th to ensure that this survey is ready in time for the Stevens County Fair. And at this meeting, the park board will determine how long the survey will remain open. There will be both paper and digital surveys available. Digital will be through a link and a QR code. And yeah, it's a lot of different good questions in there. I say residents and park users because we want to make sure that we have the survey open to everybody who's using the park. You know, there's folks that live outside of town that still come in and use the parks, but we want to make sure that with some of the questioning, we're weighting those resident responses heavier than outside park users, and then just getting a holistic view of what some of the heavier hitting topics are in our parks, like maybe accessibility or park equipment or shelters, different things like that, to try to get a feel of what the biggest issues are as residents see across our park system, and then in specific parks as well. And they'll also have a open comment, I would say, too, at the end of the survey, where we've got a park board email created for folks to just kind of submit longer feedback if they have more of a narrative that they want to share. So yeah, we're excited about it. I think it's going to be a good way to make sure that whatever projects the park board would like to pursue for the park system, that they've got good data behind them, so we can say, you know, 65% of survey respondents said that this is something that they would really be interested in over at the Dean, or, you know, something like that. But
And also just thanks to Sarah Eccles, she approached
Yes.
the park board and offered to create that survey for us, no charge or anything like that. So, and it looks
Yep.
awesome so far. So it's a, thanks to her for putting that together.
That's Sarah Eckel? Yeah, she's a goer.
Yep.
I like Sarah.
Yeah, I work with her on the Prairie Harvest Fest board. She's
Way to go, Sarah.
super helpful.
Shout out to Sarah.
Sidewalk reconstruction program. I just wanted to give a shout out to this program because we haven't had any takers on it this year for 2026. So just a reminder to the community, the city of Morris will reimburse property owners 75% or $3,500, whichever is less, of the cost of replacement for damaged sidewalks fronting owner's property. I've attached the request form for those interested. If they know they've got a trouble sidewalk in front of their home for review. Program pauses each year by November 1 due to weather, and citywide allocation for 2026 is $15,000, and it's based on a first come first served basis. I know, chatting with our public works director, he had said that he's gotten comments from residents that it's just kind of difficult to get a contractor to come in for just a couple or one individual sidewalk panel to fix. So that's something that I thought I might reach out to other cities to see if they have similar programs, if they've ran into that same issue and how they've tried to go about dealing with it or circumventing it.
I had someone ask me a question that I had not a good answer for. They were wondering,
Mhm.
they live on a street without a sidewalk, but on their walking path, there's a sidewalk that's bad, and they wanted to know if they could pay for that one to be fixed.
Hmm.
And I had not a good answer for them.
That I am not sure. I would.
Are we,
Say
do- are,
yes.
is the city doing anything in regards to sidewalks that are in tough shape? I mean, or are we just relying on the landowner or the property owner to fix it, whether it's crumbling or whether it's a tripping hazard or, I mean, I know years ago we went through and did the grinding, but there are still many sidewalks that are in tough shape, and I mean, if you're not kind of told you need to replace it, you're not going to.
Yeah.
In my mind, because, I mean, these have been that way for a while. So I don't know if there is something we can do, or, you know, that obviously the person that asked you that, and I walk a lot on sidewalks, and there
Yeah.
are some really tough ones, and that's been brought before. So it's great that I love that we have this program, and that we're throwing it out there again, but I just feel if we're not going to assess some
Identify
of those
properties.
identify those properties,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Maybe
We all know.
allocating the money differently so that the city's just deciding what pieces of sidewalk we need to look at each year instead of having a reimbursement opportunity.
Or still have the reimbursement, but say, okay, maybe that's it, this along 7th Street, along, you know, there's some, whatever, 6th Street,
Yeah.
picking some.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's
Side streets.
underutilized, like,
Yeah.
which it seems it is. Maybe we
That's-
could just take some of that and
Mhm.
allocate it towards fixing some of the sidewalks ourselves, and maybe still have some left over for the reimbursement.
Well, I think unless somebody's forced into doing something, they're not going to. So that's kind of where we're at with it. And that's why we created that, you know, program to begin with.
Hoping that they would fix
Hoping
their
they
place.
would take the initiative to do it, but, you know, if you don't have to spend the money, why are you going to? So, you know, there might be something we can do, I think, if we could get around and maybe inspect some of those places and, you know, approach landowners and say, look, you know what, this sidewalk is a trip hazard, and, you know, you don't wanna end up in litigation, somebody tripping on your sidewalk and all that, so, you know, there's some merit for somebody to take advantage of this program so they could stay
And
out
we
of
might
court.
be better able to utilize a company to come in and do, like you said, a section of sidewalks. You know, here we wanna do whatever,
Right.
6 blocks of sidewalk.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, we've kind of,
Yep,
this has been an ongoing thing, and so the idea was great, but if we have not had any takers in the couple of years this has been going, yeah, I'm thinking.
yeah, we
people
could just
aren't
maybe
gonna-
put a little leverage, apply a little pressure, wouldn't be a bad idea.
Thank you for that feedback. That is all I have for my newsletter.
You know, it's hard to believe we're in budget season already, but, you know, all three of us, of course, have been through several budget cycles, and Councilmember Dolan has not had that wonderful opportunity yet, but he sure will. And I just wanted to speak to that just for a second. As we all know, in Minnesota, Truth in Taxation, otherwise known as TNT, it's strictly governed by the state statute. So whether you operate under a home rule charter or a statutory city, your guidelines and all those deadlines are established by state statute. So we adhere to that. We're very conscientious of it. City Manager Johnson, staff, all of those people are on top of that, so that we make sure we meet all those deadlines. And just for informational purposes, I'll just read off really the three kind of first checkpoints on this. September 30th, that's the deadline that we have to certify the preliminary property tax levy and the budget to the county auditor. September 30th, remember that. And then as it goes on in December, usually is when we run, cities must hold a formal public truth and taxation hearing. And that will be the meeting that'll allow residents to comment on the proposed budget and the tax increases before any final vote takes place. So then on December 30th, that's the deadline for us to adopt the final budget and the final property tax levy. And we can go down, but we can't go up. So, you know, there's just some general guidelines that I thought would be kind of beneficial for people to know, and And as we go along, Councilmember Dolan, you'll be up to speed in no time on the budget process, so,
I can't wait.
yeah, it's
And we
exciting.
normally have a target, what we try to hold our budget to,
Yep.
and on our preliminary, we normally are within a couple percentages higher than that, and hopefully we can get down
Yeah.
to that targeted, but just seeing with all the different things that we need to pay for and cover for the next year, that sometimes we just, our hands are tied on what we have to tax to cover the expenses that we have to cover, so.
Well, and to prevent deficit spending, you know, as we all know in city government, we're required to balance. At the end of the day, it has, I mean, they call it the safe margin thing, but, you know, that's to avoid deficit spending by all of our cities, so, I just wanna put people at ease, in the general public that, our finance department's on it, and we're on it, and we'll meet the deadlines, and we'll come up with a budget that makes sense for everybody, so. Just wanted to speak to that for a little bit. Okay, would there be any other things to come off the city manager's newsletter? Or questions for our city manager? All right, hearing none, we shall move on to board updates. I guess I can start. I sit on the chamber board, and of course, tomorrow night, we have music in the park. The Rob Justice Band is gonna be entertaining. That is our third event of our Music in the Park series, so encourage you all to come on out. There'll be, I think Old Number One's gonna be out there with serving up some food, and so there'll be some food, music, and looks like it's gonna be nice tomorrow night. A little warm maybe, but so that's going on. Anything else? Anybody would like to share on their various boards?
I know we touched on it earlier, but from the tree board with EAB going around, I think with the fair coming up and the rest of summer, if you have people coming to town, just the rule of thumb that they talk about with the tree board is burn it where you buy it. So if you have friends coming and camping here for the fair or anything like that, make sure we're burning wood from Morris and Morris.
All right. Good to know. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move on to other business. I do have one item. I'm just gonna share a little article that I ran across today as I was reading through my Minnesota Cities magazine. I thought it was rather timely, and what this speaks to is cybersecurity and water system risks. If you followed the news at all this morning, you can just take one, maybe pass along. One, I'll give you that. There might be an extra one, but in light of there was a couple of cities, if you followed the news this morning, that were actually, you can keep that, that's fine.
Well, I think we all get that magazine.
You all get it, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you all
Yeah.
had an opportunity to look at it, but the reason why I wanted to just give you a copy is just that maybe that's something we could talk about at our work session in one of our maybe September-ish meetings. Unfortunately, that's the world we're living in now, where our infrastructure and our water systems are at risk. So maybe we could come up with a preparation or prepared plan to just have a good conversation about that. I don't know, any thoughts on that, City Manager Johnson?
Not just water systems. I mean, you look at the emergency that happened in St. Paul, and they had their dispatch services were down. They couldn't. Their dispatch couldn't speak with their law enforcement. They had. They knew that they were working with someone who was basically on the opposite schedule as them, because they had most of the information when they figured out that they had information that was stolen. That it was all happening in the wee hours of the night when they were all sleeping, and they weren't able to be at their desk monitoring it. But they were lucky because it was like a mad grab. They didn't really have a strategic approach to what kind of information they were taking. They were just taking anything they could get their hands on.
Right.
So they were lucky in that way, because when they had reviewed and understood after the fact what they had gotten, they were lucky knowing that they didn't have any private information go out from any utility billing or anything like that. But it's really scary. I mean, when I was going to school down at KU, there was a community that their water tower had gotten hacked into, so they had chemicals released in their water tank that they had to basically flush their entire system for 2 weeks. and they were on emergency water supply and boil orders, and it's really terrifying. I mean, honestly, it's something in emergency management that it's, you know, after the pandemic, it's one of those things that keeps you up at night thinking about, you know, cities have got really good SCADA systems, and utility operators are well aware of this risk, and but it's just something, you know, you can never be over prepared for something like this. So it's,
And that's really why I brought it up. You know, public safety, as we know, is all of our responsibility, all of us sitting at this table, so I just thought it'd be worth, just, you know, bringing it to everybody's attention, and maybe there's something we can do to be a little proactive, in this regard, so that's really all I brought it up for, and anybody else have anything?
Nope.
All right. There's no other items to come before the council.